Let's try this again. Spencer German with you from Browns Digest out here in Berea, ready for another practice report as the Browns conclude their week of preparations, getting ready for the Chicago Bears coming your way at Cleveland Browns Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Injuries, of course, the story of the day again, as the Browns set their official injury report for the weekend. On it, guys who are ruled out for Sunday's matchup with the Bears: Ethan Posick, starting center, of course; Obo Okoronkwo, who we still don't have an update on in terms of his status for the remainder of the season, not only on Saturday; Juan Thornhill, starting safety; and linebacker Jordan Kanashik, who tweaked something during the week with his calf and was kind of added on the injury report late in the week here and will not be ready to go for that game. The notable ones, of course: Posick not starting. It's not as big of a blow, I think, because you have Nick Harris sort of slotted in to take over that role like he did last week against the Jaguars, but still unsure exactly when Ethan Posick will be able to return to this team with that stinger. But the two big ones, of course, on the defensive side of the ball: Obo Okoronkwo and Juan Thornhill, who their absences create opportunities for some of these other young guys to step in, most notably at the safety position: Ronnie Hickman, DeAnthony Bell, and veteran Dron Harmon, who they brought up off the practice squad this week, will likely be seeing the majority of reps at the safety spots now that, along with Thornhill being out, Grant Delpit obviously was placed on the IR earlier this week as well. So just a lot of injuries on that back end of the defense that they're dealing with now, including Denzel Ward, who is questionable heading into the weekend. He's still dealing with that shoulder injury that he suffered in the win over the Steelers, and he's been out for about a month here. Last week, it sounded like Denzel was going to play, and then, as we know, he obviously didn't end up suiting up for that game. So no really obvious answers yet on his status. Obviously, if he is able to play, his return to that defense and that secondary specifically would be a massive guy to get back for them, especially with some of the other notable injuries from this week, including Delpit, who I mentioned, and Maurice Hurst, who also goes to the IR earlier in the week. In his absence, you can expect some sort of rotation, I would imagine, of players along the defensive line, along with Obo Okoronkwo, who's out for this one, Sam Kamara, who they called up off the practice squad, Alex Wright, who is in his second year, Siaki Ika, who's the rookie. All some names to keep an eye on as part of that defensive line depth that this team has kind of built up, both in the offseason and through the draft leading up to this 2023 season. As far as Okoronkwo goes, Kevin Stefanski said earlier in the week he was going to hold out hope that it wasn't bad news. We didn't get any official bad news today, but obviously the signs are pointing that his season likely will be over with that pec injury. We'll see. Maybe you get some good news, and maybe he's able to play the rest of the season. But for now, doesn't look good. And the fact that he's out this weekend is obviously just the latest blow on this team. We've talked a lot about just the sheer number of injuries this team's dealt with. They've talked a lot about it, and they really have subscribed wholeheartedly to that next man up mentality. It is permeated through that locker room. It's permeated from the coaching staff on down. And I thought Elijah Moore had some interesting commentary on just how that process and how that vibe within the locker room has worked so well as they continue to lose players and teammates, but the next guy's just there to sort of step up. He calls it something he's never seen before in his entire football career.
This year, being a part of this team, I tell my family all the time, it's been nothing short of a blessing. The camaraderie, the relationships that I had, I've never been a part of something like this in my entire life. So I lean on these guys like I've never leaned on a human before. So I've been able to get through things off the field that, I maybe handle different, and it's a true testament to everybody in this locker room and the coaches and how they handle things here. It's definitely night and day from every position, from college, from every single level of football that I've played. And I don't think it's because of a certain people and maybe how I'm looking at it, So I'm definitely blessed.
Yeah, he's grateful to be here. There's been other guys with similar sentiments about their time with the Browns. And as he talks about just how close-knit the group is and how they continue to just battle through, and it certainly takes a special team and a lot of camaraderie to get through just the sheer number of injuries that the Browns have at this point, to be sitting here at 8-5 with a chance to go to 9-5 this weekend against the Chicago Bears. It starts with the head coach, and it starts with the coaching staff. Kevin Stefanski has received plenty of praise this week. That continued as Myles Garrett just talked about what's been different with his approach to the team this year and how he's been able to keep everybody tight-knit and together as they subscribe again to that next man up mentality.
Taking a different kind of a role, and knowing that I gotta trust my guys, their decision making, kind of put it a little bit in our hands. But and encouraging us to be the best that we can be. And that sounds like something a coach shouldn't always do, should and always does, but it hits a little bit different though when your back's against the wall in the game and you're like in the third and short situation. It's like, should we go for it? And he comes to his guys. He's like, y'all want to do this? And he takes our lead. He takes our opinion into matter. Or he comes to us on defense. He's thinking. He asks what we're thinking on. What kind of rushes are working? How can we get you open? Stuff like that. He's really been real advocate for us, and stuff like that goes a long way.
That's a little different than how it's
I mean, he's always been for us, but I feel like he, just like we elevate and mature and take it to another level. Our coaches can too.
Really has been a theme of the week, just the praise for Kevin Stefanski and this coaching staff, and the fact that the message from up top has just kind of been passed on down and communicated to the players, and they've all stayed together through this entire ordeal of just injury after injury after injury. It leaves you wondering what could have been this season in terms of if some of these other guys have been out there. But hey, there's still a slate of games in front of them. They got 4 games left in the regular season, starting with the Bears on Sunday. They keep finding ways to win. If they can win that one, they go to 9-5. Chance to clinch a playoff berth probably a week or so after that if they can get a 10th win on their resume. And if you just get into the tournament this year, it seems like this AFC, nobody's perfect. There's a lot of injuries going around this conference. There's a lot of just ups and downs with a lot of these teams. It feels like a year more so than ever that if you just get on in, you can make some noise, maybe do some stuff. And it's obviously been a special one led by so many guys that have filled in, including starting quarterback Joe Flacco. We'll see how he plays against the Bears this weekend and if he can continue some of that magic for Cleveland. That is going to do it for our latest and final practice report, leading you into Week 15 between the Browns and the Bears on Sunday. We will talk to you again Sunday pregame as we get you ready for kickoff and throughout. Be sure to follow along with all things Cleveland Browns leading up to kickoff and during the game at BrownsDigest.com. We'll have some post-game reaction for you as well. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a big one as well for the Cleveland Browns. As always, keep on following along at BrownsDigest.com. I'm Spencer German for Browns Digest.